Hello, friends. I'm DJ Lance Rock, and I have to say, Rock and Roll Grad School is awesome!
This is Rock and Roll Grad School with your hosts, Heidi Hedquist and Luke Poling. Why are we here? 'Cause we're here. Roll the bones.
Hello, kiddies. We are going to have a real good time together today because we're talking about ska.
Yes.
And you can't be sad listening to ska. Right?
Well, I mean, you can,
You
but
can,
not
but it will help you be not sad listening to it.
correct.
Yeah. So we are speaking with Monique from the one and only Ferris,
Yes.
who have a new single that has reptile in the title and is not spooky. And we talk about all sorts of stuff, and it's a lovely conversation.
It is.
Yeah, it's perfect. So the other thing we wanted to discuss is the new Tron movie that was just announced,
Oh, yes.
right?
You did want to discuss that
Yes. So it's coming out in October,
for our birthdays.
right? And so this was just flying under the radar this whole time. Nobody knew what was going on.
Apparently. Well, somebody knew.
Well,
Trent clearly knew.
Trent Reznor knew, yes. He didn't tell anybody else.
Weird.
But the thing that's interesting is that it's credited to Nine Inch Nails,
Yes.
which, if I am not mistaken, Nine Inch Nails as currently constituted is Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross.
Correct.
So what about this music makes it Nine Inch Nails and not a Trent Reznor Atticus Ross joint?
Correct.
I don't know. I just keep thinking the whole thing's going to sound like March of the Pigs. I don't know why.
I don't know. We're going to find out.
We are going to find out. Yes, this is true. This is not an
And
unanswerable question.
why is it like, why is it a Nine Inch Nails? Like, why did Nine Inch Nails agree, and why
Right.
did they feel it should be a Nine Inch Nails?
Well, but
And
like,
why is it such a big deal that it's like it is? Like the whole announcement of the film is that it is a Nine Inch Nails soundtrack.
right. Well, the last Tron film, is it Legacy, something like that,
Mhm.
which I saw, but I was recovering from surgery and was on a lot of drugs.
Which I
So
made it really good.
I just remember it moving kind of slow. And that film had Daft Punk score it.
Right.
So is this the thing of like, we're going to get groups to score this who are not normally?
I don't know. Like all I remember of like original Tron was my album with Tinkerbell telling me when to turn the page.
I had that record as well, and I turned the
Mhm.
page as well.
I did.
So I probably should sit down and watch the most recent Tron, which is now like 10 plus years old.
I know, but should we maybe have done that before we decided to discuss the new one so that we
No,
would
well,
be, or did we just want an excuse to discuss?
Well, but
Nine
it's
Inch
not about,
Nails.
I think that's the thing. It's not about the movie. It's about the fact that it's a Nine Inch Nails. And Disney, like this was part of their big weekend of announcements and stuff. So it was a big rollout. But that's it. Like everything I've looked up is just like, they announced Nine Inch Nails is doing this. Thanks for coming. See you next week.
Right.
Like,
And then is there going to be like a little like legend ceremony with them? Like they just
I
did
don't
with
know.
Harrison
That's right.
Ford.
Well, and because they did Elemental, they won an Oscar for that one. Like they're approaching Disney legend.
Mhm.
And what would be better
Right.
than like walking down Main Street, USA, and seeing that window that says like Reznor and Ross, musicians.
Right.
That would be fun.
It would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Slightly adorable.
Right.
the night is winding down.
I really like the new single, and this is coming from someone who does not care for reptile houses in general.
Well, it's not a literal reference.
I get it. It's a
Yeah.
euphemism. Yeah, no.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He equates it to literal no matter what. So the snakes it all starts crawling
Yeah,
no matter
it's-
what.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It feels like this whole, I don't know, year and a half, you've sort of been reintroducing, say, Ferris to the musical landscape. Have you felt
Yeah.
that way, that you're kind of reminding everyone like, no, we're a band, we're out there, we're doing this?
Yeah, when I brought the band back in 2013 after like this 10-year hiatus, it was like, that was a reintroduction, and we were gathering this incredible momentum, and then we did like Warped Tour in 2017, and we gathered this incredible momentum, and then boom, COVID hit. And I felt like, oh my God, we kind of needed to start over again to a certain degree. So now we're kind of starting over again. There's, a lot of venues shut down. It took a long time to start touring again so yeah, we're gathering momentum again and reintroducing people again. But what's kind of cool is we're introducing ourselves to audiences that we're not entirely familiar with, say, Ferris, i.e. the Midwest. We just got back from a Midwest tour. It was very successful, in my opinion. It was surprisingly successful. I couldn't believe it. So weird, but really cool. And this is the biz. This is how we do, and it's cool. Like, we get to play like these really cool venues, and I don't know, like, write great songs and release neat music, and meet new people and make new friends. And the demographic has been broadened. It's not just like old, say, Ferris fans. And when I say old, I don't mean like old people like me. I mean,
No, nothing.
Like from
no
the
offense
old
taken.
days.
Right. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
all of us.
I mean, like from the old days. Yeah. I mean, like from the old days.
Yeah.
But
Right.
yeah, from the 90s. I mean, like, the demographic is just broadened in a way that is so incredibly surprising. Like, I have friendship bracelets from little girls.
That's awesome.
Oh,
that,
it says Ferris.
I get
That's amazing.
at every show. Yeah, say
Wonderful.
Ferris, Hope, like there's my name. It's really cool. And it's also a little scary. I feel a lot of responsibility when I see young people in the audience that young. I feel like, oh God, we can't do Too Drunk to Fuck tonight.
Oh no, you
Yeah.
have to. You gotta teach them young. They gotta know. That is an important life lesson.
Yeah, like we need to teach them who the dead Kennedys are.
Exactly.
But if their parents are present, I need to teach them what earmuffs are.
Yes.
Earmuffs.
But
Yeah.
But their
If it-
parents brought them. So their
Exactly.
parents are also there teaching them, one would hope, or have taught them
Absolutely.
prior, one would also hope. So
One would hope.
yes.
One
I've
would hope.
always kind of, with my kids, gone with it's okay for Monique to say this, but maybe let's not repeat this at
Right.
school, let's say.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, I know I'm going off topic and everything. I
Oh no,
apologize.
this
but-
is what we do.
yeah. But the feeling at the shows that I try and create is that it's kind of about just being free to be who we are and express ourselves freely. And we can do that at a show. We can't necessarily do that at school or at home or when we leave the venue, but when we're at a Safe Ferris show, we can be who we are and feel free to be ourselves.
And that's
And so, yeah, I feel like my kind of brashness on stage is an encouragement for other people to express themselves freely in a way. So, yeah,
and we need
if a little kid wants to say, fuck one or two times, when they're going to say Ferris show. I mean, have at it.
Yeah.
But, you know, but as soon as you leave that venue,
Watch it,
get parental
mister.
permission
Yeah.
first.
Right, exactly. Like, this is a safe space, but then you will be grounded.
But yeah, you will be grounded.
Well, it always just seems like for all musical genres that like ska is one of the ones that you have to experience live to completely get it and go, oh, this is wonderful. Like the idea of the inclusiveness of it, the, you know, the family nature of being in that room together. It feels like you have to have experienced that. And so like record's great, but live is something else, and trying to get that energy up, you know. And I'm sure for, you know, fans coming now, I think there's still a little bit of that post-pandemic of like, we just want to get out and like not worry about anything for a little bit of time.
Yeah, there really is that. I feel that. I feel people just being so grateful to be able to be in a room with other people and not wearing a mask, and just dancing and hearing live music. I feel people with this sense of gratitude, and I have a sense of gratitude too, to be able to play live music. But yeah, there's a lot of that. And you know, I've always said, like since the beginning of Say Ferris, like you can hear a Say Ferris album, but it's nothing compared to the live show. You have to come to a live show in order to understand what we're about. And this you know, our motto that we created in 2017 was ska now more than ever. And it's
love.
because we felt that at that time, yeah, we, you know, Patrick Ferguson, our guitar player, came up with that. And, you know, we felt that, you know, like even though our heart, we love ska, but we listen to other stuff too. Like we love punk, and, you know, we listen to all, like, you know, I don't know, nerdy kinds of music, whatever. Primus, I see you're wearing a Primus shirt.
Yes, thank
all
you.
that.
Yeah.
You know, and but we at that time, and I still feel it now, that we need it now. And it has to do with coming to a live show and really understanding what it feels like to just, you know, leave all the expectations at the door and just sort of, I don't know, be yourself, be free. Forget everything, political stuff, religious stuff, just kind of
Yes.
forget all that, you know.
And that's
Like the best sound for everything,
just
right? It's just, yes.
well, and it
Yeah.
is that I mean, I feel like it's got to be both a burden and a blessing for you, because I mean, nobody every single night of the week wants to go out and start a party, but
Yeah.
you sort of have that. But does that work for you too? Does that work for you? The idea of like, I just got to leave everything in the green room and come out and we're going to have a good time.
Totally, because I'm you know, clinically diagnosed major depressive. And, you know, I've been medicated for over 20 years with major depression. And so for me, this is my therapy.
Yeah.
It heals me.
Mhm.
So yeah, you know.
No,
And I'm also, like, in my daily life, I'm also a very political person. And I'm also, you know, I have my own spirituality and my own this and that. But I love being able to put all of that aside and just like look at people as human beings and just love them through music, you know, and use that as our uniting factor. I know that sounds cheesy, but for me, it's how I heal.
no, I mean, the idea of any music and ska, especially in Say Ferris, as a big tent for everyone everyone can fit into. And then, yes, the idea of music as this healing force, I know very well. If I haven't gone to a show in a while, you start to feel it. And that energy is really something that I found as an audience member, you can draw on for a while. So I can only imagine being up on stage and taking that vibe and that momentum and that sound, with you.
Totally. Totally. And, like there's some musicians you can tell that they're there for themselves and they're there to process something very internally. For me, I'm there to give, and by giving, I'm processing internally.
Right.
That's how I feel.
That's-
So it's a very generous and compassionate thing, but it's also a selfish thing.
But
you
that's
know?
that's perfection though, right? That's the perfect balance.
Yeah.
That's how it should be.
Yeah. 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 And I love it. And it's hard. It's really hard, but it makes, it makes the sacrifices worth it. I never expected that I would be the sole owner of the responsibility of this name.
Mm-hmm.
I never expected that I would be a business person and a merchandise designer and an employer, and that I would have all of these huge responsibilities. I just wanted to sing, I'll be honest, and perform. That's all. And so I've had this huge learning curve, and all of that stuff. It's like total, it's like death for me. Like I hate doing it,
Right.
but it makes everything worth it. The other part of it makes everything worth it. So I know when I'm up there, like this made all of that other shit worth it. All that other shit, the like problems with management, the shitty, complaints or the comments or the all of that. This performance made all of that worth it, So
Yeah.
And the burden, like when you talk about your burden is no joke. Like it's no joke in general, but your burden is like in some ways quadruple, because you're iconic as a performer in a band and your music stands for itself. But then you had the balls to pick a name that is iconic beyond your band in pop culture history and the lexicon. So then you've got just the pop culture nerds that have embraced it and taken it on, whether they've heard your music or not. And then they feel that they have a right to comment on your sound and who you are and who you should be, whether they've ever heard your music or not, and then take it on. So that it's just, it's a huge, it would have been big regardless of who you were, but then you just decided to just go full on.
Yeah.
So well done.
Yeah. But I always say, what I always say is like, if you've got a problem with it, I dare you to come to a show.
Right.
Mm.
Right.
Because I know if you come to a show, by the end of that show, you will leave loving this band. Guaranteed.
For sure.
Hands down. You will leave a fan.
For
and not just like, I'm not saying you'll leave a fan of me. Like you will leave a fan of the experience.
Right.
So I dare you.
I love it.
Come to a show.
I love it.
Well, one of the things I learned in doing a little research before we spoke, that you and Heidi have something in common. You trained as an opera singer.
And trained as an opera singer.
You know an opera singer.
I know an opera.
You lived with an opera singer.
My mother is an opera singer.
Oh, no kidding.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Amazing. Yeah.
So
oh my gosh.
Is there things from that you still put into practice? Because obviously it's a different genre, but singing is singing and music is music.
Yeah. I mean, like I was a child opera singer.
That's awesome.
Like,
so a very small
also
house of
no
horns.
joke. Oh, stop it.
Oh, well, I'm just asking.
That's hilarious.
It's not. You can tell him it's not hilarious because he knows what an asshole thing that is to say, and that he loves to say that to my mother as well.
I think it's adorable.
It's
Thank you.
Just the vision in my mind of that is very adorable.
I mean, it would be
So,
adorable as a child. That's true. The child version is
It's
adorable.
very cute.
That's true.
Yeah, the child version.
The
Yeah.
child version is adorable. You're right. I will give you that. Yes.
It is okay. So it's the foundation of it allows me, like this tour, we're doing 11 shows straight without a break. And it's what allows me to be able to feel secure and saying, yes, I can do that. Right. So,
Yeah.
so I know that I have training that will allow me to do that. And I'm so
Yeah,
grateful
for
for that. Yeah.
For sure.
then-
Absolutely. Yeah.
People don't get that. People don't get that
Yeah.
they can be symbiotic and they can work together and it can, and you do, like, that foundation is what can carry you on
Yeah.
forever. Because I did take lessons. I did not
Absolutely.
train to be
Yeah,
an
I mean-
opera singer, but I did take lessons for many years. But I have ultimate stage fright of singing
Yeah.
because my mother's an opera singer.
And it was really?
I can act like nobody's
Oh,
business.
you know, and I
but
can
don't like to sing.
understand that. And you know, it's interesting. Yeah. Interesting. You know, what's interesting is sang, but was terribly shy and had a beautiful voice, but would never perform. And so for me, it was on the flip side of that. I almost became a performer for him,
Wow.
you know?
That's
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And here's a little tip. On the last Say Ferris album on Checkered Past, he sang on Goodbye Brother. And then a sad thing. A couple months later, he passed away.
Oh.
So I actually got him on a record, and then he died unexpectedly.
Yeah, but that's really beautiful, though.
Super
have
cool,
that.
That's
right?
so cool.
Yeah.
Super cool.
I mean, it's sad, but it's really
Yeah.
cool. That's
Yeah, just-
awesome.
It's awesome, right?
To have had that opportunity is great.
Yeah.
And then I'm assuming too,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
tell me if I'm wrong here, the neck surgery you had, I'm assuming
Mhm.
again, that sort of training probably helped you out of that, recover a little bit better, just because again, you knew how to treat your voice and how to make sure that it could kind of heal and get back to what it was.
Yes. Yes, because part of the training, the opera training, like in college and it was like this, you had to learn of the inner workings of the vocal cords and what was going on in your throat, and you learned of the anatomy of what was going on in there. So when I had this surgery on my neck in 2013, which is the reason why I brought the band back, you know, my whole neck, like I grew an inch, so my whole neck went from like this to like this, which moved my esophagus, it moved my vocal cords, moved everything. So everything changed, you know, and I had to work with a voice pathologist for a while to just sort of understand what was going on in there, you know, understand like how the placement was different. And but yeah, I think the training helped a lot because I could close my eyes and envision, you know, what was going on in there and what had changed. But it
So
took
it
a
was-
little bit of time to understand.
So it's kind of like, would you say the world was new?
World was kind of new. World was kind of new. It's kind of new. A little bit.
So
A little bit.
are you looking towards doing a full record, or are you just focusing on the singles and just kind of building momentum song to song?
You know, I know this sounds crazy. I really like releasing EPs because the first thing Say Ferris ever released was a 5-song EP. That's our Red album. That was before It Means Everything, our major label thing that we released. You know, and that's my favorite thing that Say Ferris ever released was that first Red EP. And so that's why Checkered Past was a 5-song EP. And so right now we're releasing every like 6 to 8 weeks a new song and video, or at least we're attempting to do this till we get 5 songs, and we're going to release an EP. And then see if we can do another 5 songs, and then maybe we'll make a full length out of it. But I really like the idea of sticking with the tradition, because I was very lucky for us, you know. Very lucky. So
And it just seems like a very ska band thing to do, to just have, you can kind of build a whole world around a few songs and then just leave it and move on to something else too.
I like to say we like to hit it and quit it in this industry. You know, like people are like, can you play a 90-minute set? And I'm like, we like to hit it and quit it. You know, if I could just do a 45-minute set, headline a 45-minute and get out of there, I would do it. Unfortunately, that's not how it works. But you know, the Beatles never played more than 45 minutes. I like to hit it and quit it. You know,
No,
so
it's
not that
far
we're
better.
the Beatles,
but the idea of overstaying your welcome and you know, having that song when everyone gets up and goes to the bathroom, like you want to skip that part of the show, like give everyone a chance to be fully.
I love that you're saying that, because I always say that there's always the bathroom drink song.
Yes, you
There's
have
the
to
song
have
in the
it.
middle of the set where everybody has to go to the bathroom or get the drink,
Mhm.
Yeah.
right? And so, do I want to have that song in the middle of the set? Do I want to have the gratuitous ballad or whatever in the middle of the set, or do I just want to hit it and quit it? You know?
Yeah.
So the venues like having that song in the middle of the set because they sell more drinks.
Love it.
Right.
Love it.
Right.
They love it. They love that. They love it. So if I like the venue, maybe I'll do it.
Do you
I
vary
wouldn't
up the
do it.
set list, or do you vary up the set
I'm
list?
sorry?
Or where?
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was
For
gonna say.
each tour. Yeah.
Mhm.
For each tour, and then depending on the audience. So I will, like, when I will play a few songs and feel out the audience, and then if I feel like the audience, if they're a hard audience to get going, I will inform the band that we're changing the set. You know?
And just
so we'll vary the set depending on the audience.
And is the rest of the night up in the air and you're doing it song by song, or you kind of like, we have our, you know, the songs you know are going to get someone into it?
Well, we go out there with a guide, the set list that we've set for the tour, because we don't want to play the same set we played last time we were in Buffalo, New York. You know, we want to play a new set.
Sure.
So I have kind of a guide of what I know that we want to play. But if we go out there and like, the audience is sort of like on the fourth song, they still have their arms crossed. I know that we need to play a song that's going to like get them at least bobbing their heads a little bit, you know. And then from there, I'll also sort of go back to the original set depending on how energetic it is, you know. But I also know to cut certain songs from the set at that point and then add other songs to the set. That's a too drunk to fuck night.
Always.
Lights Out in the Reptile House is available to stream right now on your favorite musical streaming platform. And if that wasn't enough, the band is also out on the road. For tour dates and so much more, check out their website, saveferris.com.
Rock and Roll Grad School is produced by the Professional Production Company. Please be sure to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, because your impassioned review is just as honest as us standing backstage waiting to come back on for the encore. For more information, you can check out our website, rockandrollgradschool.com. And like everyone else, we're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Today's show was recorded and produced by Heidi Hegquist and myself from our world headquarters located on the second floor of the professional office building, centrally located downtown. Our reluctant executive producers are John Sauvé and Sandy Stone. Our willing executive producers are Rachel Allen and Randy Jeanette. Our intern is Zach Jackson. This one's for Philippe, Thanks for joining us. Good night, drive safe. May all your favorite bands stay together.
I'm coming